to ignoring the negative. Seeing the negative for what it actually is creates the ability to seal oneself against its harmful effects, and possibly even to be able to avert those effects entirely. When we see what's coming with open eyes, we can take measures against it. You know, we can protect ourselves. We can steel ourselves mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually against the coming deluge, okay? Refusing to look at critical information, however, just because it makes you feel uncomfortable or scared, okay, this is a hallmark of right brain imbalance. You know, you're being ruled by the emotions and you don't want to feel the effect of what's really there, okay? You can feel it and then own that emotion and deal with it, or you can try to, you know, ignore it and stay asleep and willfully choose to remain ignorant. Well, you just refuse to look at information because it makes you feel bad. You're willfully choosing to remain in a state of ignorance. Ignoring what is actually there, ignoring reality. And therefore, you're willfully choosing to remain unconscious. New Age deception number 2, never get angry. You know, this was always my favorite superhero growing up. I never really preferred the other superheroes too much. The Hulk was my favorite. I was like obsessed with the Hulk when I was a kid. All right? He was the big green machine. You know, green, the color I always talk about is resonating with the heart chakra, resonating with the sacred feminine, actually. The balance point, the middle of the visible spectrum is green. The Hulk embodied one basic overarching natural law principle to me, as I really understood this character, the allegory of this character. It is the first natural law principle, which Frater X actually eloquently stated today. The first right of any being is the right to be left alone. All the Hulk ever wanted was to be left alone. People would not leave him alone. And he only hulked up and became the monster when he would not be left alone. When people pushed him and pushed him and pushed him and pushed him. And finally, he exercised the sacred masculine principle of self-defense. And when he did, he cleaned house. You know? So, the New Age movement wants to turn your inner Hulk, which is about feeling righteous anger, about the inequalities, the inequities, the evil, outright evil that's present in our world, and they just want to turn you into someone who's all calm about it, even though evil is running amok. So we can't let our inner Hulk be turned into just someone who's going to roll over and take whatever is thrown at him. That would be bullshit. The correction to the never get angry deception is this. While non-righteous and unchanneled anger is most certainly counterproductive to both individual development and collective efforts to bring about positive change in our world, righteous indignation, when it is channeled productively, can be a major motivation to create positive change in the world. So it's about owning the anger and channeling it and directing it into positive action in the world. That is the proper usage for the emotion of anger. Anger is not there to be expunged. You should feel anger when there's injustice. Okay? Just like Howard Beale here in the movie Network. You know, I'm mad as hell. I'm not going to take this anymore. I'm going to do something to create change. Like the saying goes, if you're not outraged, you're not paying attention. And even in the biblical allegory of Christ, you know, people give me a hard time about putting Jesus in the presentation. He's going to be in here a few times too, okay? I understand the astro-theological allegory of the Christ figure. I get that. I could write a book on it if I wanted to. I understand that there's a possibility Jesus was not a physical, historical personage. I get emails about this all the time when I talk about the message of the Christ, okay? It's a whole different thing than the religion about Christ. But in the allegory, Jesus gets angry. He takes out a switch and whips the money changers' asses. Okay? He's feeling and owning his anger and channeling it in the world and taking the switch out if it has to be taken out. All right? So, let's move to New Age deception number 3. The concept that since we're all one, and I certainly agree with that precept, It's all good. There's no bad, nothing bad is happening. It's all good, okay? Good and bad are dualistic. You hear this in the New Age movement. That's duality. That's dualistic. That's judging. That's labeling. Well, how the New Age movement looks at this is they want to tout concepts as right and wrong as dualistic and therefore invalid. They're trying to convince people that everything is okay and should just be accepted. That there is no right way or wrong way, meaning that there is no right and wrong that is objective, okay, that is actually inherent in nature. Inherent right and wrong in nature. They want to convince you that that does not exist, that it's all relative. That's what this is all about. This is about pushing moral relativism. And I tell you now, as I've told many people, this is one of the 4 main tenets of dark occultism and Satanism, moral relativism. So if we fall for that trap, we're buying into a whole okay? The correction, it's not all good. It's not all good. There are bad things that are taking place in the world that we need to acknowledge and own up to and do something about. Here, on the ground, on earth. Here, now. Be here now. Okay? So it isn't all good. There is an objective difference between right and wrong. It's inherent in nature. That which is right is correct because it is based in truth. It is moral because it is based in natural law or cosmic spiritual law. Right is so because actions that are based in it do not result in harm to other living beings. That is what makes it right. Wrong, conversely, is incorrect. It's wrong. It's not based in truth. It is immoral. It is in opposition to natural law, moral law, the cosmic laws of the universe. Actions that are based in it always result in harm to other beings. These are objective. These are inherent. They are not relative. It's all about the development of conscience, recognition between what is right and what is wrong, understanding that deeply. Conscience, as a word, comes from the Latin prefix con. Con means together. And the Latin verb scio, sciere, which means to know. It is the root of our word science. Conscience literally means, when we break it down etymologically, to know together. It is the knowledge of the objective and inherent difference between right and wrong. That is what knowledge, that is what conscience is. Conscience is knowledge. Then it is up to us to utilize wisdom. That's putting conscience into practice. The knowledge of right and wrong and putting it into practice in our world. To know together means to have common sense. This is what our world has lost, unfortunately. It's what we're trying to get it back to get it back to common sense principles. If people can understand this simple slide right here, your consciousness will expand so much, and you'll get something that is so important and vital that so many people overlook. This is true non-duality. The place where we're creating schism and duality is by thinking that either spirit or matter are superior. One or the other is superior and the other is inferior. We understand they're all the same thing. They are all part of the one. They are all part of the one thing that is the everything, that is the all. Spirit is not superior to matter. Matter is not superior to spirit. I know I'm going to piss off all the religionists, the New Agers, and the scientific materialists with this, okay? It pisses off everybody, because it's saying it's all one thing.